Welcome to the Collective Experience by the Brwngrlz Collective, a dynamic platform where we celebrate innovation, creativity, and the power of Black excellence. Each episode, we sit down with change makers, visionary industry leaders, and groundbreaking entrepreneurs across the worlds of fashion, tech, education, business, and more. This is more than just an interview series. It is a space where stories are shared, wisdom is exchanged, and inspiration flows. Together, we are building a community that thrives on collaboration, empowerment, and the drive to uplift one another. So get ready to meet these women redefining industries and shaping the future. This is the Collective Experience, where we take center stage. Experience brought to you by the Brwngrlz Collective, your space for inspiration and connection. I'm your host, Desiree, and today we're excited to introduce Lolita Frazier, founder of the Strut Talk Runway Therapy, a groundbreaking 501c3 nonprofit that blends fashion, therapy, and advocacy to empower victims and survivors of trauma. Inspired by her own personal journey as a mother who tragically lost her son, niece, and nephew to gun and domestic violence, Lolita created Strut Talk as a healing space for individuals seeking solace and strength. What began as a small initiative has grown into a nationally and internationally recognized movement using the art of runway, walking, and body confidence coaching to promote mental and emotional well-being. Strut Talk's mission is to transform pain into purpose through innovative programs like runway therapy sessions, youth empowerment initiatives, and dedicated support for mothers of murdered children. Signature events like the annual A Son for My Son fashion show honors victims of violence while providing critical support to their families. Lolita's unwavering commitment has expanded Strut Talk's reach to include impactful partnerships with organizations such as Everytown for gun safety, community outreach programs like Strut Talk in the Streets, and life-changing youth mentorship opportunities. Her journey reflects resilience, passion, and a profound dedication to breaking cycles of trauma and creating spaces where hope and healing thrive. Through Strut Talk Runways Therapy, Lolita continues to inspire individuals to reclaim their power and confidently strut through life's challenges, proving that even after their darkest storms, joy and purpose can prevail. So I want to go ahead and thank you for coming on and taking time out of your day to let us and let our community learn more about you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
And how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. Is it still morning? That's just the kind of morning.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, definitely been a great start to a day, and happy to be able to be here with you and have this conversation.
Sorry, so some sound was in the background. Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah, sorry. So I'm sorry, say that one more time. I was trying to get her to close the door.
No, I just said the morning was great. You know, it's been busy, pretty productive, and I'm just excited to be able to at least have this conversation with you. To start the day off, in the right direction. So
yes. I was telling the last person, I was like, y'all, the mornings, I'm not a morning person. So I don't really want my day to start till about 1.
Right.
That to me,
No, that's still not a morning, right?
Yeah. But all right, so we're going to go ahead and jump into the next game, which the game, which is this or that. And we're going to, spin the wheel, and we're going to do it 3 times. Okay.
All right.
Go ahead and spin the wheel. All right. So perfume or body mist?
I am a perfume lady. Yes, I love perfume. Especially like really good perfume that, you don't need a lot, but it goes a long way. I feel like with body mist, it's too much of having to refreshen up. Like I want something that I do it in the morning and it's still going to be lasting like when I, at the end of my day. So
definitely. And so what's your favorite perfume?
Oh my gosh, I have so many favorites. Right now, I think it's either Caroline Herrera, I think. I think that's the name of it. It's something, yeah, the shoe is something new for me, but I am obsessed, honestly. I can pick up like a blazer or a sweater or something that I had on, and I love what it smells like later, you know? And so that's one of my favorites. I love Gucci Guilty. And then I have just, you know, it just depends on, you know, what it is and what I'm feeling, the time of the year. I like different things. And so right now, you know, winter months, I'm leaning towards that.
Yeah, I'm a perfume and body mist. It just depends on like, okay, if I've been out from 10 to 7, like I'm gonna have to like it just because I don't know. Okay. So I have the body mist in the car, so just in case I have to freshen up real quick.
Right.
But my favorite perfume is Grlz. It's like a vanilla, and it's like a So I guess my question would be, are you flowery, or like do you like a musk, or?
So like I said, I think that also depends on when. Like I feel like in the spring and summer months, I'm more of florals, you know, but still mixed with a little bit of musk, like not too sweet, but something maybe a little bit more dainty, you know. And so it just depends. I'm open to a lot of things though. If I smell something or smell someone walk by me and it's just like, oh my God, what are you wearing? Yeah, that's the kind. That's how I know when something got, you know, has me. So.
Excuse me, ma'am. What you got on?
Yeah, and people actually do that to me a lot. You know, especially in the airport.
Yeah, I like a musk all year round. Like I don't know, it's just something about a musk. I feel like the sweeter scents don't like really vibe with me well.
Right.
But the musks, I know that I don't have to freshen up.
Right.
With no body mist. So but I do love that. All right, so we're going to hop into the next question.
All right.
It's been Will. No, I can't say that. Wheel of Fortune. Oh, cool. It's a good question.
All right.
So brick or mortar business or online business?
Okay, and so me personally, I think brick and mortar. But I do both. I think brick and mortar because, you know, if you're local, like I think that face-to-face interaction and connection is really important. I do like to build with my clients face-to-face, but I found like, especially through the pandemic, that I was able to be able to provide the same service like through virtual services. And so I think I'll go 50-50. I'll go 50-50. I think have a brick and mortar, but still provide those services that are virtual, because there's so much and so many people that are out there that you can reach, you know, virtually. But like I said, I still like to have that personal connection. And so I think I'm going to go with 50-50 on that.
Okay. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think, well, personally, you know, in my business, virtual works best, simply because, you know, I don't think we're at the stage where we can buy or get a brick and mortar, but I would love to have a brick and mortar for that. But I know like with people who are just starting out in business, that the only way that they can get started is online, you know, or, you know, just to get started if their goal is a brick and mortar.
Right.
But yeah, you prefer like interaction, you know.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I've actually learned how to, you know, be interactive, you know, in this virtual world too. And so,
I'm gonna say be interactive, like in person.
No, like just interactive, you know, like even down to doing workout sessions and runway sessions. Like, you know, it's the same. I can provide like the same type of quality service, and my clients still get, you know, that, you know, expertise and the skill set. And they could be in Portugal, they could be anywhere, you know. And so I do love that part about it.
Okay, all righty. So we're going to move into the next and last one.
Okay.
Going to spin the wheel. I hope it goes to one that I wanted to go to. But if it don't, I'm gonna still ask the question. Come on, do it. No. Nope, I'm spinning the wheel because I feel like that just kind of was like the same question. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead. Do it. I guess we'll go with that one. But I wanted to ask about heels and sneakers, but makeup or no makeup? Major love to our sponsors for stepping in to make all of this happen. IAS Games for family and friend game nights. Out the Barns Entertainment for your video editing needs. Camera Guys Inc. for video photography and your editing needs. Intro music by Sedasia and music provided by Grlz. Your contributions keep us going and help us grow.
And so to each their own, that's how I feel about that. Like, I'm not a big makeup person at all. But I do like makeup sometimes. And so I have my go-tos. Like, I'm always going to have like some eyeliner. I'm always going to have my eyebrows, try to do my eyebrows. Maybe not so much the lashes and things like that. But I think that whatever makes people feel beautiful, that's for them. But for me personally, I do like to stick with the more natural look. I feel like that's kind of just what I know, what I've seen growing up also. And so my mom is like one of my big influences as far as like, natural beauty and watching somebody, age gracefully. And so I just try to, I think, the bare minimum is great for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I'm going to go ahead and ask that question, even though the wheel didn't do what I wanted to do. Heels or sneakers?
So believe it or not, a lot of people don't know this about me, but my style is very, very versatile. Like I'm from, a city I'm from a place where people, we do whatever we want to do. Right. And so I have my moments like when I'm going out to the grocery store or, going downtown to vibe with the homeless. Or if I'm just feeling real chill that day and I just want to be on my sneakers and, baggy jeans, like I can be that too. And so I like both, but I think, of course, heels, I just have that thing for them. Being a runway and, I'm wearing heels for a profession. It's like, even if I don't wear them, I buy them. It's just like, I'm just like, oh, now those are bad. Like, and I'll buy them and then like, where am I going? Where am I going? But so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna lean towards the heels. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the outfit will come later. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It just, the shoes came first. Now we get the style from bottom to top.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Me, I'm gonna say I am both too. I started off just wearing heels all the time. I loved heels because I have a high arch, so the shoes used to hurt my feet. But then now I'm kind of like a little low key liking comfortable shoes. Like I really like comfortable shoes, and they can be cute still, but comfortable. Right. Me and my roommate went and bought some auntie steppers. Like they're the heels that are like.
I don't really know what those are.
Auntie steppers.
I don't know what those are.
Like, they look like not necessarily kitten heels, but they're very comfortable shoes that are like they're not like the stiletto sexy heel. They're just like a nice comfortable heel, and you can get around in them. You might do a little walking, a little distance with them, but comfortable shoes. Mm-hmm.
All right, I think I know what you're talking about.
So I know you said the city. What city?
And so many people may not call this a city, but I'm from Newport News, Virginia. I'm from Williamsburg, Virginia originally, but when I say city, it's more so of just our environment. Like, we grew up with a lot of city influence. And so I have a lot of family that's from New York. And so growing up, that wasn't I never came down south. Like I didn't have any cousins or family beyond Virginia. Everybody was either in Maryland or, moving further up, up the state lines. Yeah, the state's line. And so that influence, wearing Timberland, seeing my cousins come down in the summer and having bamboo earrings and, going to Philly and just seeing like, colored leather and just all these things that it was like, oh my God, I want to dress like that. And so, my mom is a fashionista also. And so she was big on everything my mom wore was pretty much custom. She was, big on getting her clothes made. She loved Vogue. And what's the other one? It's I can't think of it. I think it's like McCall. It's something really like back in the day, but patterns. And this lady would make my mom's clothes. And so just, I've always been raised to like, wear whatever makes you feel good. Do whatever you want, And so that's just, how I am. And so, yes.
So what brought you to the South? If you know, what made like, I'm confused because if you like the city, what brought you down South?
So I came to South Carolina, like I think probably like most people, like it's either going to be the military or it's going to be love. And for
Mm-hmm.
me, I feel like, I mean, it wasn't love, but that's what I thought it was. But my, ex, we lived in Virginia together. His family's from like Camden, South Carolina. Became a situation where we just started talking about like a new beginning and like starting fresh. And so his family was from South Carolina. And so I ended up just, taking a chance and moving out here. I was a young mom. I wanted to make sure my kids could live somewhere that to me was a little bit slower than where I came from because it was a lot of violence, coming from Newport News. And yeah, I ended up, I mean, I always tell people he dropped me off here because it didn't work, the relationship. But now that I'm like mature and can say these things, it was just where I needed to be. God just used him to get me here. And, I've been here ever since, and that's been 16 years. And so it's kind of like, wow, like I've been in South Carolina for 16 years, but that's how I got here.
Mm-hmm. So no plans on moving back anywhere. This is home for you.
Yeah, so I do. I plan every year to move. That's always been my plan. The story is very deep as to why I stayed here.
Mm-hmm.
I was here for a reason and on a mission, like, and I know we'll get into that a little bit later, but I had a young son, and Newport News was not the place to raise your son. And so my thing was, if I have to stay in South Carolina until I can, keep him away from whatever I need to keep him away from, that's what I'm going to do. And so I ended up still being here because, his story ended up creating like a lot of like my purpose work right now. And so I just couldn't leave, but I am at the point right now, and we can talk about that too, that, no matter where I go, I always have a love for South Carolina, and I always come back here, to do whatever it is that God has for me to do. But I'm also ready to go wherever he has for me to go, if that makes sense.
That part. I like you, I have planned every month, every year to leave South Carolina as well, but it just feels like it's some type of hold for some reason. I'm like, God, I'll do what you told me to do, but if you want me to do something somewhere else, just say the word.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, he strategically works though, and like I said, I'm from Virginia, so I've been like within the last year, last 2 years, I've been doing a lot of work in Virginia. Mm-hmm. And so community events, because I got to get reacclimated. Like I have to reintroduce myself to the city. And so, any place that I go, what God is showing me is that I got to go there and plant the seeds first. Like I'm not going to just go there. Like I'm going to start growing there. I'm going to go there periodically. And so I have several places on my radar that I've been going back and forth to, and building like that relationship with the community so that they can understand who I am. A lot of these people don't even know who I am because I have been gone that long,
Mm-hmm.
So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you say 16 years, I feel like every decade, some like when we look at fashion, like every decade repeats every 20 to 30 years. So when you look at 16 years, there's been two different types of, generations that were brought up, and the people that we, even like I'm in my 30s, there are people who have passed on that, could speak and vouch for you as a person, in your city, in your area,
Right.
and you're no longer there, and also they moved, or so
Right.
so a lot of different, variations. Yeah. So I could definitely understand going in and going and growing back where you're from.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been my process.
Yeah. So I do want to go ahead and jump into the next the first part, which is our introspective. And essentially, what misconceptions do people have about you and also about your runway therapy or doing therapy or runway? You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I've heard so many things, good and bad, but people like I've just only thing I could do is laugh because people have, called us a cult, they have called us a gang, they have said so many things that just make me laugh, but the thing that people can't deny is that it's something that is real. I think that the misconception is that number one, I'm not a therapist. And so for anybody out there, like I'm not a therapist, that's not what I claim. I am a life coach, and I still don't even really throw that title out there. I did that, but this work that I'm doing is like, it's already in me. It's who I am. And so runway therapy just comes from, just the power of posture, the power of body language. A lot of people think that they're confident. A lot of people say they're not going through anything, but I have this way of helping people to understand that they are, and that it's okay, and that they can strut through it. It's something that's new. It's something that nobody knows because it's mine. It's mine. It's something that God, this is all through me. It's something that helped me to strut through my own pain. And so it wouldn't matter if anybody believed it. The fact that everything that people think great about me is all from the runway therapy that I do within myself. And so, what was the other part of the question? I'm getting a little passionate about this.
Well, no, it's just basically a comment. What did we do? Hold up. We were talking about the common misconception. Yeah. So about yourself personally and about, the runway struggle.
Yeah. And so from about me, I don't know, but I would say that maybe some people may think that I'm unapproachable. Some people may think that I'm not really, friendly or like, like a people's person. I do have a certain way about me that, I don't wear my feelings on my sleeve, like at all, but I have a lot of feelings. And so I'm big on like just reading people and their energy. And I like to make sure that, I'm around people that are aligned with me. Like, that's just how I always been. And so I'll help anybody. I'll be there for anybody, but everybody's not going to know that fun, friendly, high-spirited side of me because they're not around me to know that, but if people come into my world, like that's all about trust, respect, loyalty, then they know I'm the life of the party, but I'm also the one that's the most serious, I may come across as like stern because I pretty much am. I'm a very serious person, but I'm also very nice, this is just who I am. And so if you do think those things, I will always tell people to take the time to get to know me. Just meet me, meet me. And I think that if you understand like my story, you'll understand why I'm the way I am. And then people can also understand that that's why they are the way that they are. Everybody's away, for some kind of reason. And so I think those will be the things the most that a lot of people don't know what runway therapy is. And until they take the chance to just come to a session. I have people that reach out to me and tell me that runway therapy saved their lives. And these are people who aren't models, who've never done it before, but they could have been in a very dark place. And I help them feel something that they hadn't felt ever or in a very long time. And so that's what I know.
Can I speak to my experience?
Case in point, let's go.
I swear to God, like, okay, because like everybody, like, I think a common maybe misconception of me is that people think that I like the spotlight and I like to be in the forefront of things.
Oh, that's a good one.
That is the complete opposite of
that. Is such a good one.
I like to have fun, but I also like generally like these interviews, right? I don't do them. I purposely have figured out a way to get other people to do the interviews because I'm like, I can curate all of this. I can go and do all of these things. But me personally, sitting and talking and being on screen is not something that I want to do. Like in this age of social media and having to put yourself out there, I kind of have been like this advocate for if you're afraid of it, then now you got to do it type thing. But if I can find a way around it, I will. So to go back into Monday, I was not planning on doing that. Okay. Like even when we did it for my mom's birthday, it it might be a little different for that situation because I'm around people that actually know me. So,
Right.
it's, they already know how I am and I'm silly and I don't, I take things seriously when I have to, but, I'm a play around, right? But then, doing this in front of people now, a lot of the women or models that walked, they have
Right.
actually walked for me in, my jury line several times. And so I've never actually had to walk, and I was just, oh Lord, I was just like, give me a shot, like, like this, like, I don't care if it's 4 people in here, like, this is not what, I came in here thinking that I was going to be doing at all. And, in the spirit of support, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I don't know. Like, it was a lot for me to process. And like, I don't think that we actually as people sit here and think that it takes that much energy to do that.
Right.
Like, you look at
Listen.
your secret models and you're like, oh, I could do that. No, you cannot.
Right.
Like when you're literally, I mean, you probably can if you train yourself in there. So I'm not gonna like knock the next person or whatever, but it was a lot processing through my head. And then it took me to another level of why am I so self-conscious about just walking?
Oh my gosh. Listen, and the thing is, like, I've been waiting because I am going to be sending out like some surveys. Like, I want to get the feedback because, like I said, you're not a model. And I'm like, when people are like, anybody could do that. Oh, girl, I could walk. And then literally when they're put on the spot and put, just on display, it's like, oh my God, oh my God. Like,
how
what?
you feel. Like you're on display.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
But it's literally like in just walking, right? I felt like, again, going back to me being, I'm not saying I'm a fearful person, but I think we all have developed fears. Me just doing that, I was, I'm going to do it because, again, I don't want to live in fear. It helped, push me through another thing because like I can go in and talk about it, but I would definitely do that with you because I have a lot to say. Can I do it in a voice memo? Like, yes,
yes. No, actually, I would love to do have you do like a voice, like a video. Because I think that the more people can do things like that, the more people are going to understand what it is. Like, to the point somebody's going to be like, well, man, she's not a model. Let me go and see what this is about. I'm not trying to make anybody a model, but I want to just help people to, remember that the word just strutting alone is standing tall, revealing your unadulterated truth. Like you said, why am I afraid of this? Like, let me run to it. I'm not going to run from it. And so that's what strutting is. When somebody says, I'm going to push through it. No, you're going to strut through it. You're going to stand in your truth. You're going to walk through all your emotions and you're going to do it. Like that's that. And so that's what it is to me. Replacing the word push with strut. Like, no, we walk every day. We standing tall in our truth. And so I was honored to have you do that because like I said, I know that you didn't come there for that. But God also tell me that, it's for whoever shows up. And I was glad that you were able to get that experience because it's fun too. It's something that makes you feel good. And so even if it's just for you to end up strutting throughout the whole week, like having that feeling, my job is done. That's it. That's runway therapy.
Because let me tell you, all week I've been productive. Like that, I've been overly productive. I was so happy. I was like, you know what? I might do this again because like I really did like how my week went. Like and and I didn't necessarily put 2 and 2 together until today. In our conversation, I was like, you know what, that was Monday. But since Monday, Tuesday I did this, Wednesday I did this, Thursday I did this, and now here we are Friday. And I really, it jump started my week because there I am going and pushing myself through a fear. And a lot of times I feel like sometimes we get stuck in business because there's some fear behind it. It's like really we could strut through it, but like it could be something so simple like sending an email, but why am I making sending this email so difficult? Yeah. And it's like really because I'm afraid maybe I won't get the response that I want or whatever. but it's
No,
still, you got to
absolutely.
keep your chin up. Now, I wanted to go back because I'm trying to remember, but it was something you said when we were there on Monday that really resonated with me. And once it comes back to me, I'm sorry. Once it comes, I'm gonna have to be like, hey, wait, this is it,
No,
so
do it.
be prepared for that at any point of the moment because you might trigger that thought to come back. But you did say something, and it's eating me up alive that I wanted to talk about. But we're going to go into the next question, which is your passion and identity. Essentially, what inspired you to start your journey, and how does your personal story connect with the work you do here today?
And so, years ago, many years ago, I was a young girl. I was out there. I wasn't a model or anything like that, but I've always been into modeling. Like, I've always loved like fashion. I've always been very particular about how I walked, how I carried myself, but I never did it, if that makes sense. There wasn't a lot of it around me where I was from, like in Williamsburg. But when I moved to Newport News, I had an opportunity to. I was in a new neighborhood, and so my kids wanted to try out for basketball. This is my true story, and I took them to this community center. It's called Doris Miller Community Center. Allen Iverson, Michael Vick, everybody that's somebody from Virginia, Newport News, Hampton. We grew up in that community center. A lot of talent. I took them there to audition, and this lady met me downstairs and told me that we had missed the audition. Like, it was over. I told her we were new to the area. I was just trying to get my kids into something so they would have something to do. And then she's like, well, we're actually practicing for a fashion show upstairs. She was like, do you model? And I'm like, no. And she was like, well, I saw you walk across the street because it was an upstairs building. She was like, and that's why I came downstairs. I'm like, she must be looking for the audition. And I'm like, no. And she said, well, I'll tell you what, my name is Fatty. I'm the basketball coach. And I also do the modeling program. She was like, if you'll audition, I'll give your kids a chance to audition for the basketball team.
Oh, no, she didn't.
Yes. And I'm sitting there like, are you kidding me? Like, I don't want to do this, but my kids are over there like, Mom, come on. Like, and so I did it. I went upstairs. I was the most uncomfortable I probably ever felt in my life because I was around people that I didn't know. And because I knew that I was different, I'm very structured. I'm very, how I am. And these girls were from Newport News. These girls were, they were from the streets. Like, they're looking at me like, how you doing? And I'm like, okay, girl, loosen up. And so when I walked, they were doing twists and turns. My walk was very much like runway. And so it came across as very stiff. And so they were telling me I need to loosen up, but I'm thinking to myself, that's not how you do it. Like, and so I had that balance where I was trying to be like them, but I knew that how I was right. And that was the pressure. But this lady ended up coming, and she was like a supermodel. Well, a famous model. Let me say that. She had made it to like big shows in New York. And so I don't even really remember her name because I wasn't invested back then. But when we all walked, I was the person who walked last, and I was so nervous that I cried. This is the shyness in me that people don't know either. And because I don't like to be judged, and back then I couldn't really handle stuff like that, and so I didn't know what it was going to trigger in me. Like, don't talk about me, don't laugh at me. And so she came to me and she said, listen, I don't. She was like, I want you to go back and come back doing this like you're the one that's doing it right. And this was from a person who had made it. Like, and I'm like, oh my God. She was like,
you tried coming down
the first time. Yeah. And when I got to the end, she's at the end. And she like, I leaned down, I bent down, and she told me, I want you to go back knowing that you're the one that's doing it right. And that just did something to me and for me. And I came back and I just let it all out. And fast forward, people saw then that I really could walk, and people are like, who taught you? And it's like, nobody taught me, and I did have people clean it up on the way because, like I said, I was pretty shy, but I ended up doing a runway battle, and I won against 25 models. I won $2,500 cash. And I always tell people that it ignited something inside of me that has lasted over 20 years,
Mm-hmm.
at least 20 years, and so that's why I bring like events and, things like this back, because I know what that can do for your confidence. It never stopped for me. It
Mm-hmm.
never stopped. I moved to South Carolina shortly after that. And that's where my journey began as a model, as a runway trainer. Trainer just came natural to me.
Mm-hmm.
I could see people that weren't doing it the right way or just needed help. And I'm going to be the first to help, because I always have felt like, that's all I needed people to do in my childhood or as I was growing up, was just to step in and help me. Like, don't see me do something wrong and just watch me do it wrong and talk about me. Help me. And so some people would do that. They would sit back and they would laugh at these people. And I'm like, no, I'm going to help you. And I would take them and we would go in a hallway wherever we went. And I would just start pumping them up like, yo, you got this. Like, you're better than them. Like, all you got to do is just own it. Just believe it. And so somebody one day, one of my breast cancer survivors was like, you're my confidence coach. And I'm like, no, I'm actually a runway trainer, because I started training shows where it was like breast cancer survivors as models, just whatever. And she told me straight up, you're my confidence coach. And that's when I owned the title of a confidence coach, because here I have a stage 4 breast cancer survivor telling me that, no, you're more than that. You have built my confidence. You have helped me strut through cancer. And so that's when I really took this on. And that's been about 10 years ago. And then in 2016, my life turned, and my focus and my purpose was like redirected, but also made clear. And so, yes.
Yeah, no, that's a beautiful story. And I'm still trying to think what it was that you said that day at, oh my God, because it has something to do with, because you were saying that, you can continue to come back each Monday. If you don't do it right this time, you have plenty of opportunities to do this. And in this moment, I was like, oh, I'm coming, I'm checking it out. I don't mind supporting and seeing what people have going on, just so I can spread the word, and kind of like speak from my experience. Cause I'm gonna speak from my experience. If somebody asks me, what do you think of this? I'm like, look, I had an amazing time. I had fun. Like, to this day, I was like, yes, Monday I had a ball. Like, it was completely different. And I like doing different things in Columbia, especially. And the fact that, I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna come. Cause then there was a competing factor. I was like, I'm gonna win that money.
And I mean, I'm like this, like I said, it's not always about the money, but money is our motivator. We all are, as entrepreneurs, we trying to make money. When we go to work, we want to make money. And so if you could come out on a Monday and like I said, walking and winning the money, like, that's the thing that is like, oh man, like, it just pumps you up. It's just that simple, and I'm very calculated, so I'm doing it strategically for a reason, because my ultimate goal has always been to give somebody that feeling that somebody gave me 20 years ago. And I'm a person that I like to give money away. I love to do that. Like, honestly, I'm like, it's who I am. When I do it, God repays me so many ways that I'm like, okay, giving, like, that's what it's all about for me. And so, it's Christmas time. It's the holiday season. And so, I'm glad you want to come back, because that's what I want people to do. I want them just to come back and have a good feeling again. We even had the bar owner say how amazing. He wasn't even there. He said they were calling him, telling him, this is so much fun.
It was. It really was.
They were like, they want to do it. Like, even a bartender can come walk. Anybody can feel this, And so, yeah, that's.
I literally thought I was going to be there for like maybe an hour, because I was like, I got so much work to do it. I don't even want to do it. Like, I mean, when I say I was trying to find any and every excuse not to work, and then I ended up being there for like 4 or 5 hours. I think maybe 5 hours is pushing it, but 4 hours. I was there for 4 hours, and I enjoyed it the whole time. It's like, part of me was like, girl, you gotta go home. You gotta go do this work. And then I didn't go home. I went straight to sleep because I had a couple shots.
Right.
And so I went straight to sleep. But then I woke up the next day, and I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and do this. I pulled out my laptop and pulled out my notebook, and I started doing. I was like, well, you know what? This is probably what we're so stuck in the rut of like, and here's something to again go back and say, it's beginning of the week, jumpstart your week and strut through the rest of the week. Like, there was no pick me up needed this week, right? Like normally I need a break on Wednesday, but I went straight through Wednesday. Matter of fact, Wednesday was my longest day. Like I think Tuesday and Wednesday, I worked like 14 hours straight. And I was like, so it was like, yeah, let me know. I will definitely do a video review and I will talk about it from beginning to end. I have no problem doing that because it was an experience. And I do feel that, more people need to experience it.
Behind the scenes, there's a lot of hard work that goes into this production. And we couldn't do it without our amazing sponsors, advertisers, and crew.
And like moving into the next question about your business, I'm going to add another element to it just because, you do travel outside of, the United States, outside of this state, and you bring this therapy to other places in the world. But what also sets your business or your initiative apart, and how does it impact your community across all the communities that you have been able to connect with?
Well, I think that the number one thing is that Strut Talk Runway Therapy is for everybody. It's for all people. And so whether it is, youth mentorship, we have two different projects, which is Project Laylo, and we have Strut Talk Model Citizens. And that's building up our youth, helping them to stand tall and strutting through the things that they may be facing at home, even as kids, helping them to strut through bullying, strut through, insecurities that they may go through. Like a lot of the pain and a lot of things that I walked in for so long were things from my childhood, things that people didn't think, oh, that's nothing. She just get over it. It's like, no, those things really hurt me. And I carried that for a long time. And so I've always been big on being proactive. Okay. For my homeless community, start talking the streets, letting them know that I understand that, hurt people, even if it's themselves, and that you're not out here just because you are out here. You're out here because you're a hurt person, which goes back to they may be still stuck in that 5-year-old trauma, right? So now, everyday people like you or me, you know what I'm saying? Trapped in trauma.
No, that's what I wanted you to bring back up, because that part is what, when you talk about the confidence building and you talk about what it actually does, like the hurt part, continue. Yes. That's what I wanted to get to. Let me see.
And I think a lot of this came from, when I lost my son, I lost my son to gun violence. But more importantly, I lost my son at the hands of a hurt person. This wasn't a killer. This was somebody's hurt child that was trapped in trauma. There's no could have been. And so I always think about the nonverbal conversation. Like when he came in the courtroom, I already knew, like, oh my God, like I could barely look, not just because he took my son, but it just made me feel sad. I just was sad, like, because I'm like, it could have been prevented if people would have paid attention. Because if I see this, why nobody else seeing this, And so all of this is about helping people to heal from whatever it is that they're going through, whatever your life challenge is. People don't understand. People think they can dress up trauma. Okay. And so dressing it up, maybe buying a new house, driving a nice car, you your makeup done, you looking good. But we all are walking in something. Even if we haven't healed from it, we've grown up. And the only way is like when you're triggered. And so that's even if you got road rage. Road rage don't just come because you got road rage. It's something that's still inside of you. It's something from something. But people don't really get that. And so, being able to tie this into all people. Like I said, I work with breast cancer survivors. This isn't something that I just have, people in the city of Columbia feeling. I've been all over the world. I've been invited by the most, beautiful people, like not just come hang out with me, but come empower our communities. People who don't even speak my language, but the power of body language. I could take somebody from here and just take their chin and lift it up. They're not going to put their chin back down around me. And if they do, and I go like this, they already know what time it is. Shoulders back. You know, some things is nonverbal. I don't have to say anything. I just be it. You know what I'm saying? And so even if I'm sad or if I'm going through something like this interview and I have to share things that may be tough for me, I'm not going to sit like this, because walking in it is not going to have me doing nothing but this. But if I sit like this and I'm ready, I can't be broken. I'm going to share this. You know what I'm saying? And if the tears flow, then the tears flow. But I'm going to continue to move forward. And so that's what runway therapy is. It's for all of us. We all walk. Most of us walk every day. I don't care if it's walking from your home to your car. It could be from your car to your job. When you know how to strut and stay in position, it attracts opportunity. Like I said, when I got that first modeling opportunity, she saw me from upstairs.
She said, I saw you from the door.
I wasn't even thinking. I didn't even know nothing about a fashion audition or anything. But because I stay in position as a confident person, even when I might not be feeling as confident, I know that if I look it, I'm going to become it. You know what I'm saying? And so that's all it's about. You know, that's all it's about. If we can tackle every area, you know what I'm saying? And we can if we can heal each other, then we can save our children. That's how I look at it. Happy people aren't just killing people. It's only people that's trapped in something. You know, I speak in the prisons. Fulton County Prison, to be exact. It's probably one of the roughest jails. It's a jail, I'm sorry, but it's definitely, the people need to check on those people. But when I go into that jail, I'm the only woman that's going in there. Yeah, they whistling, they doing all of that. But when I open my mouth and I share my story and I talk about walking in pain and I talk about that thing that happened to you when you was 5 years old, it wasn't your fault. When I start talking like that, I make these people, they shed tears. Because I know I'm talking to you. And the first thing they ask me, every pod I've ever gone into, they tell me first that they sorry that somebody did that to my son. But they also did that to somebody's son.
Your son, yeah.
And then they ask me, do I forgive the person? Because they just hurt people. And as they heal, they'll start understanding what they've done. And then maybe, hopefully and prayerfully, God will show them how they can turn their pain into power too. Because just because you did that doesn't mean that you're a killer. It means that you were trapped in your trauma and you had a gun and you pulled the trigger. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, I'm just trying every way that I can, every way that I know that's in me to keep my son name alive. You know, my son name is Jordan. We call him Big Lalo, you know. He right there. I got a picture right there. He stayed behind me because that's my reason. That's my why. You know?
Yeah, I mean, you know, when you say that, you immediately had me go back because, you know, we just met maybe within the last few years. But there was this part because I was a hurt child. I'm not even gonna lie. You know, I don't mind telling people my story, my experiences. But you know, in childhood, you're raised a certain way, and you have a certain level of wanting certain things as a child.
Right.
Like that. And there was a scene in Medea. I think Medea Goes to Jail when she was sitting there, and I reference movies sometimes because that's my escape from things.
Right.
But in movies, you can always find some type of truth. And she sat there and she said, y'all are just sitting here mad, you know, and angry about what your parents and the lives that you lived, but you're continuously allowing this to define you and be here. Like, you know, you're brought here. What next? Like, you know, you can either continue to choose a life of pain, or you can choose a life of happiness, doing and living in your purpose. And you know, when you said, you know, you going to speak in jails, a lot of people, I don't think really understand how and why those people are there. I think the compassion and the, you know, the real growth that should be happening in jail does not happen. And they don't want it to happen because, you know, at this point, the more bodies they get in there, the more money they make, you know.
That's right.
So, you know, I believe in starting with children because these children become adults. That's and then right. I also believe in, you know, exactly you doing that because that really, where that hurt, they're living in their hurt currently and they should be reflecting on that hurt. But I don't know if they have that. And so it's really good that you do that because you're giving them a moment of reflection. They've got nothing but time to reflect on it and maybe, push them to, actually going and getting therapy and pushing all of those unresolved issues. Because I think a lot of times, like even, going back to Monday, just going in that walk pushed up a lot of unresolved or things that we pushed down so to the surface in the subconscious that we don't really think about those things until we're put in a situation or, where a lot of those of subconscious fears come to the top. So, I congratulate, give you all the kudos in the world. And, I'm not going to say that I would come like to jail with you, but again, you have things going on. I definitely would like to be a part of and seeing, how, we can work together on that. And, if it's something as small as me doing a video, you know what I'm saying? So, I would love for more people to be healed. Like, the whole Brwngrlz collective is literally because when we look, and I know I posted something recently about the networks, like there's so many of us doing our own things that there's no power in that, right? If we're all connected doing the things and we're all helping push the work that we are each doing, that's where the power and the change happens.
Absolutely.
And I want to be able to, like, I'm a doer. Like, okay, well, if you're doing it and you're doing it and you're doing it, then let's all do it and let's all do it together. Right. Like that's kind of how I see it because again, like, reason why I also do these interviews is simply because there is no real visibility on us that are doing the work. Those that are coming in and nurturing the community, we're bridging the gap because you have to understand that even what you're doing, you're strengthening these men and these women and these people in jail, and then you're with the strength that these men and these people, they're coming in and they're coming back to strengthen the foundation of our community for those changes to happen.
Absolutely. It's so important. It's so important. Even down to the models that are with me and around me. You can't even model with me if I don't know your story. I'm just that kind of person because I don't want anybody walking around me, looking good and feeling bad. Like I need to know, like, how can we help you stand in your truth, because we all have gone through something. Like a lot of, girls and guys have been molested. I grew up in an abusive, mainly a verbally abusive background, but also I watched my mom be physically abused for like 17 years. And it wasn't by my dad. And so I had a lot of fear growing up because I just always felt like I couldn't help, like I couldn't step in, like, and just save the day. And so that was something that bothered me for a long time. And, and until I confronted it, I didn't know my dad growing up, and it made me make a lot of bad decisions because I blamed everything on that. It wasn't until I met my father and forgave him and healed that I realized I was so much like him, even down to the I started meeting men that were more like my dad, but before I met him, I was meeting men that were more like my stepdad, which were rough, tough, maybe a little bit verbally abusive, physically abusive, but they might shower me with gifts. It was like I was, I didn't even realize it was a pattern. I didn't even know that until I actually healed from my childhood trauma, and so all of this to me has been like God just like set me up by using one chapter after the next, for me to go through it, grow through it, and then be able to help somebody else do the same. And so even when I go into the, speak to the youth, I do know what it's like to not have a dad. I do know what it's like to live in a house and you don't have the things you need to go to school. I do know what it's like to wake up and your mom's not home. Okay. I do know what it's like to be called black and ugly. I know all of that stuff. And so the thing is, when they see me, they love me. But for me to be able to tell them that I'm you, I'm just like you. And if you can just trust this process, one day your story, you're going to be coming back being just like me. Like I had a third grade teacher, Miss Lewis, and she was the first person that I ever felt comfortable with. She just saw me. And to this day, like I still stop by her house. This lady is 80 something years old. I love her because she saw in me in the third grade who I am right now. Right now. She told me you're going to change this world one day. And I didn't know what that meant. How could I do that? she didn't know I was gonna have to go through all the things that I went through, but I just want to be the Miss Lewis to somebody, you know?
Yeah, and it takes someone seeing people, because when you had said about your son and the guy coming into court and you saw that, a lot of people are so self-consumed that we see the signs, but hindsight, it takes till hindsight to actually say that we've seen something.
Yeah.
Whereas, if we stop for a second and look at the next person beside us, like we go to church and they say, tell your brother amen, or turn to the left, turn to the right. It's just so you can physically see what's going on right beside you. So if you notice something isn't, right, find out what it is. So, I think that's, again, awesome what you're doing, and the fact that you see people and you're able to, see people, meet them where they are, and help them come to the level that they want to be. That's just it wrapped up in a nice bow for it.
Thank you.
Now, I think that we've already kind of touched on what is your why, because you literally said that is my why. So we're going to go ahead and move to, legacy and impact. What impact do you hope to make in life, and how do you see your legacy inspiring other Black and brown women to pursue their dreams?
And so the impact that I hope to make in this world is that to trust God, and to allow him to, use you and your story, the chapters, as the same way that we believe that it was already written. I found, like, I'm not a very religious person, but I am very spiritual. And it's just ironic to me. It's more than ironic, but that Proverbs 3:5-6 says to trust God with all of your heart and to lean not on your own understanding. All your ways acknowledge him and he'll make your path straight. And that's really all I've been doing for most of my life. Like, when I don't know, I just repeat it. My son, that's the only verse he knew, because I didn't have the answers. But I knew that if you say this and you trust him and give him your whole heart, like something's going to happen. And so I just want to impact this world by showing them the greatness of God that's inside of me, but that's also inside of you. Okay. I want people to understand that even in the midst of your loss, that when you're trusting God, that there are also gains, and to understand that healing it doesn't look the same for everybody. Everybody don't need or do the same things. And that's for a reason. We all are individuals, and we all have that thing that makes us, that moves us. And so I just encourage people to give innovative, approaches a chance. Look at the person, look at the deliverer, and, when you see me, everything that you see is everything that I am. That's it. You'll never see me slipping, because this is who I am. And so not just on this camera, or not just, in the streets, most of the work that I do, I don't even record, because I don't do it for the world. I don't do it for the world. I'm doing it for God. Like, it's just so strange. Like, I got, I'm in this battle too with sharing my content, but it's like, I don't do it for that. Like, I'm not doing it for that. That's why, like, when I'm going out there and people in their vulnerable states and I'm empowering them and making them feel good, I'm not recording that.
I think read the room, like, because my sister there's a lot of things that people don't see. And I'm in the same battle, and it's like, and she's like, well, you don't know what you're doing by inspiring somebody else to do, and that's what the visibility is there for. It's not there to showcase, oh, look at me, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but showing people, hey, have you thought about this? Have you, like, even in this interview, right, you're opening up and you're sharing some of your things. I've never thought to go to jail. Like, I've thought to stay away from jail, like, that's just always been my thing. But now you're giving, another context and a way to impact a community. Like, jail is a community too, but it's not something that people consider. So, you just sharing that little, you think it's a little piece and you think that, this is not something I want to share, but you might have encouraged 6 or 10 other people in other parts of the world to go and start checking on their people in jail.
No, absolutely. Your sister has been a major force behind, just like a lot of my inspiration, like, as far as speaking more. And she's like, I love her advice. And so 2025, like, I'm already preparing to be able to release this, because another thing about me is I'm all about timing. And if I'm not led to move on it, and some of the things God has made it very, very clear why I didn't share it. Like, I have letters from the Obamas. I have a lot of responses and replies from everything that I've done, but God didn't want me to show things until it was time to show things. And it made so much sense. It was like, wait a minute, why do I have this video on my phone? Like, I mean, it's crazy. And so 2025, I'm going to get more comfortable with, sharing and showcasing, like I said, the work of God also, because now I do understand. And I think like a part of keeping it to myself was because I wasn't just ready to share it, emotionally, because you got to get ready for the comments. You got to get ready for the response. And so I've been preparing myself for those things because it is a very vulnerable situation. No matter how many years have gone by for a mom and aunt, it's like yesterday. It's like, it's not a day that doesn't feel like yesterday.
Yeah, and you do very sensitive work, so I do understand, the response, but I tell my sister this too, because I think me and her, we just be talking, but I'm like,
I love y'all.
I'm like, do you not remember what Eazy-E said? He said, good publicity, bad publicity is still publicity.
Right.
So I have the conversation. They're burning our CDs. He said, but they had to buy them.
That's right. No, absolutely.
In the way the perception or how we perceive the situation or opportunity. So even, and I'm saying, you share your story and you have bad comments. Y'all, everybody on Brwngrlz gonna have potty mouth. Fuck them, right? It's literally because at the end of the day, now this person is gonna say something stupid, and now somebody else is gonna come in and say you said something stupid.
Right. You don't even have to the battle won't even be yours, right?
Not even yours.
That is perfect. No, that is perfect. No, absolutely.
Let them talk. Let it be conversation, because when we look at even just something as simple as religion, right? You have people that have their views. People are going to always have views. That's what makes us individuals. So I let the trolls troll, because guess what, troll? You done got me more engagement. You done got me more views on what it is I want people to see. Now, so it is what it is. I just want to just tell you that. So, in preparation for what you're putting out, don't even worry about it. That's not even anything you need to concern yourself with about how people perceive what it is that you're doing. The people that are going to see the work, that needs to see the work, will see the work. And that's what matters, is that you're doing the work is getting done. People are seeing the work and you're inspiring others to do the work. So that's taking us into our last question, which is paying it forward. What is one piece of advice or wisdom you would share with the next woman stepping into this space? And what is one question you would like to ask?
Okay. Repeat the question one more time.
All right. What is one piece of advice or wisdom that you would like to share with the next person in this stepping into this space? And then what is one question you would like to ask her? So a piece of advice and then a question.
Okay. So a piece of advice is, it sounds like a question, but it's not. Why walk in it when you can strut through it? And breaking that down is that, every day when you wake up, you have the power within you to make the decision on, am I going to walk in this? Walking in it meaning allowing whatever it is I'm feeling. It could be something in your relationship, something from your job. It could be something from your childhood. It could be something really deep that's on your mind when you wake up in the morning. That's your fresh start. And so you make that decision. Am I going to walk in this and allow this to dictate how my day is going to go, how I'm going to treat my family, how I'm going to treat myself, you know, or am I going to trust God and strut through it by just simply rolling my shoulders back, sticking my chest out, lifting my chin up, making sure my core is tight and that my mind is right, telling myself and reminding myself that this is my story and can't nobody tell it like you. Nobody. And so I really want you every day, walk in it, strut through it. It could be, like I said, if you're driving, somebody cut you off, walk in it, road rage, strut through it. Go ahead, you got it.
Mm-hmm.
At fast food, somebody disrespectful or be rude. You know what I'm saying? When you get to the window, how you doing today, sweetheart? You know, drop them some advice. Say something to them. I know you might be having a rough day, but you got this. That's strutting through it. Mm-hmm. You know, and the question that I leave you is that we all have a story. But if you had to walk through this life and you could not say anything about who you are, nothing about your power, about your authority, about your strength, about your struggle, what would your strut say about you? Mm-hmm. And so that's the question. What does your strut say about you? Because everybody says I'm confident, I'm this, I'm that. But when I see a lot of you guys, I don't see that. I don't see that.
I'm going to ask you when we get off with my strut.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you. Because I actually know what your strut. I'm telling you, like, I thought about you. I thought about every single person that walked that night because I learned something about every single person, even down to my models. Like, I learned when you under pressure, it's easy to walk in confident, but when you see some pressure, are you still confident? You know what I'm saying? People, they shrink, you know, where I'm like, nah, that's the time to really stick your chest out. Like, nah, baby, I'm not shrinking. You know what I'm saying? And it may be uncomfortable, but that's when you believe it. That's when you become it. And it ain't about being cocky. It's not about being none of that. It's about, I have all these trials and tribulations that I've gone through. I have paved the way to stand in my truth. And so you can take it as whatever you want to take it as. But I'm here to tell you that it's nothing but love. It's nothing but peace. But I'm just real serious about it.
It's serious work, girl. It's serious work.
Serious work, baby. But we have a whole lot of fun too. So
exactly. You know, like it's the balance, right? It's just really the balance of it. Being serious. That's why I'm like, I work hard and I play hard. Like I deserve the balance. Like
that's right.
If I can sit here and do 2 14-hour days, then you know what? I deserve to sit here for 3 hours and not do nothing. Like, you know, but I do want to go ahead and we're going into wrap up. And I want to thank you so much for, you know, coming in and talking and telling your story. Like, you know, I've learned a lot about you, you know, in this hour. And I've gotten I probably got more questions. Like I can come up with so much more, but I'm going to go ahead and let you go. We are like so grateful for you coming in and speaking to our Brwngrlz community and for the light that you bring into the world. And to everyone watching, thank you for being part of the collective experience. Do you have any last words, anything that you would like to say to the people before we exit stage left?
I just want to thank you guys just for your time. Thank you for hearing my story. And I would love to, you know, help you get, you know, more familiar and comfortable with runway therapy. And so if you have any, you know, want to reach out or anything, like I'm an open book. And so online, offline, you know, I'll make sure you have the information that's needed to get in contact with me. So thank you guys.
All righty. So thank you, Brwngrlz. We will see you later.
Yeah, see you later.
Thank you to our advertisers, sponsors, and everyone who made it possible. And of course, thank you for tuning in and being part of the Brwngrlz family. See you next time.
Oh girl, I love you just like Mary Jane. I give you everything. Damn, I hope you feel the same. Come and make it better just like Mary Jane. Oh girl, I can't complain. I need your touch, can't get enough. Come and beat me up, it's just like Mary Jane. From the middle of the club, you say you running low again. Won't let me feel your up, I got some papers in my section and some sponsors in the tuck. She been calling me Split Daddy, baby. Please don't gas me up. You can keep your mask, I don't want time with that. Tryna know your heart by the time we start, baby. Ain't no hiding facts. Maybe if you with it, we can start a tab. Break down them walls, you can let me in. I can be your quarterback. I'ma put our team right on the map. Oh girl, I love you just like Mary Jane. I give you everything. Damn, I hope you feel the same. Come and make it better, just like Mary Jane. Oh girl, I can't complain. I need your touch, can't get enough. Come and beat me up, it's just like Mary Jane. Oh girl, I love you just like Mary Jane.